Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rogers. Welcome to Physics 201. This is a quick little walkthrough of my Canvas shell as well as the syllabus, so let's hop right to it. You sign to Canvas and this is what you see. This is going to say Physics 201, and we can kind of see that we have some chapters down here. We have some links. I tend not to use those. Let's go ahead and dive into the syllabus. If you click on this tab I think is one of the most useful ones in Canvas. Here we have the syllabus, and here we can kind of see all the due dates for all the stuff. So let's talk our way through the syllabus very quickly. Go ahead and pop this bad boy open. First of all, we have a standard VCCS description that we're going to learn some basic physics, mostly on the mechanical side of the house, and we're going to get good at problem solving. That's more or less why you're taking this class, is to work on your problem solving. Best way to get in touch with me in this day and age is probably to shoot me an email. Generally what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some physics. Here is the textbook. You can go ahead and get the 6th edition if you want, and that'll save you a ton of money. Labs, even though it says that we'll be doing labs every week, these are simulations in the summer of 2020. Homework, we have some online homework, some easy problems, and then some pen and paper problems. The pen and paper problems are quite a bit harder, but even the easy problems, it's still a physics class, these aren't the easiest problems in the world. The easy problems are online multiple choice, and what you can kind of do is you can have 2 attempts at those, and you can feel free to ask me via email any question that you want. If you want to set up a Zoom session, we can do that. There's no reason why you can't get a 10 out of 10 on the multiple choice or on the pen and paper problems. I won't accept late homework just because I don't want you falling behind. We have 4 tests scattered throughout the semester. It does have a time limit of 90 minutes, and it needs to be your work and your work only. I won't accept tests past this time limit, and I won't accept them past the due date. Please try to stay with the class. Be nice to your equipment, be nice to each other, and make sure that you don't cheat. Here's kind of the divvy up of points in this class. We have 4 tests at 60 points each. One thing I will note is the very 4th test is not a cumulative final, it is just the last 3 chapters. We cover a ton of material. The tests are going to be 30 multiple choice questions, and there's a little review test that you can take that's worth nothing to get kind of a feeling for where it's going to go. You need to be good at solving physics problems going into the test. We have labs, 14 labs at 8 points each. We have the online homework, the easy problems, 12 chapters at 10 points each. And then we have the pen and paper homework, 12 chapters at 10 points each. Standard ABCD rules apply. For time requirement, we would meet 6 hours per week if we're meeting face-to-face, and generally the rule of thumb is if you spend 6 hours in class, you should probably spend at least 6 hours outside of class. Solving these problems is not easy. My job is to help you learn how to solve these problems, but these are very hard problems to solve. If you have a disability, then you know what it means. Get me that form as soon as possible, and we can make things work for you. So let's kind of take a quick little jump through of the syllabus here, then I'll show you what it looks like on Canvas. I more or less have divvied the class up into roughly 4 main chunks with about 3 chapters each. I only have 4 due dates to kind of give you a little bit of wiggle room. First due date is June 15th. Essentially, you should have watched chapters 1, 2, and 3. You should have done online homeworks 1, 2, and 3. And you should have done the lecture problems 1, 2, and 3. You should have done these labs right here. And the big due date is midnight on June 15th for test 1, chapters 1, 2, 3, lecture problems 1, 2, 3, and all the labs. I highly advise that you don't take that due date to be let's see, 11:59 on June 15th. You definitely don't want to be knocking out the tests or knocking out all the problems and all the tests and all the labs on that particular day. You just won't make it. So even though it is June 15th deadline, try to get them in ahead of time. Then we have chapters 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to warn you that these are the hard chapters. Make sure that you put the time in ahead of time. It's very difficult to do Newton's laws as well as work and energy. Test number 2 is probably the hardest due to that. June 29th is the hard due date for test number 2, chapters 4, 5, and 6, lecture problems 4, 5, and 6, and the labs. You can see test 3 and test 4. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. If we pop back to the syllabus, you can kind of see, here we have June 15th, we talked about that date, at 11:59 p.m. We have the ball toss labs, chapters 1, 2, and 3 lecture problems and their solutions. I do have extra credit for many of the chapters, and we have homeworks 1, 2, and 3. So let's talk about these guys real quick, and since the ball toss lab is at the top of the pile, let's go ahead and dive right in. So you click on this lab right here, and this particular lab, well, I'll confess, two of the labs I have not found an online simulation for yet, and the ball toss lab is one of those. So I guess we better go back to the assignments, or I'll go back to the syllabus tab right here. So let's go ahead and pick a different lab. Let's go to the motion lab. All the labs are submitted the same way, as well as the lecture problems. You can click on the PDF or the document, totally up to you. So you click on this bad boy, and actually I'll pop this guy up right here. Now, a couple of the simulations I had to use were Java simulations, which may not work for you, but this link right here did work for me on my personal computer. You click on this bad boy right here, and it's going to pop open a simulation. There we go. And for this guy right here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at what motion looks like kind of graphically. So we can mess around with this guy's velocity and look at these graphs right here. Then what you're going to do is more or less, you just need to fill out this document right here. For my sanity, please, 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 if you go ahead and put some text in there, go ahead and make the text a different color or put a background to the text. That'll help me pick things off. One thing I will note is you can have 2 attempts to submit your labs, and more or less why I'm doing that is because if this was face-to-face, you'd be able to talk to me before you turn your labs in. If you need to draw things, you can use these guys right here, so you can fill that guy out. If you see a question mark, if you see the words describe, explain, stuff like that, then I am looking for ink on the paper. Please, please, please don't leave things blank. If this technology thing doesn't work for you so awful much, you may certainly print this bad boy out and submit pictures of it. So how do we go ahead and submit these things? Well, let me go back to the Canvas shell. I'll go back to the Motion Lab right here, submit assignment. What we can then do is we can go ahead and choose the file. And I saved this guy on my desktop right here. So here's this guy right here. It'll take documents, PDFs, and JPEGs. Please don't submit that HEIC weird, funky format. And you can go ahead, put that guy on there. You can leave me a little comment if you want, and you can submit the assignment. I will then scribble on that bad boy, and you should be able to see my comments. If you were to click on one of these 2 guys right here, then once I've graded it, you'll be able to see any markings that I may have, and you may resubmit this assignment. So let's go back to the syllabus tab right here, very handy little guy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Chapter 1 lecture problems. So let's click on this guy right here. Here are some very hard physics problems, although in the case of Chapter 1 it's not that awful hard. Your job is to go ahead and solve these guys, and again, please do email me if you have any questions on these guys. You don't actually have to physically write on this, but it does help me if you do, but you can totally do it on line paper. Just make sure it's easy to follow. So I do have my solutions for these guys posted. I highly advise that you don't just blatantly copy them, because then you're not going to learn how to solve problems, but I do have my solutions right here in case you need a nudge in the right direction. This was my notification that I submitted an assignment. I do have my solutions right here. Do not just copy them. You're not going to learn anything, and you're just be shooting yourself in your foot when it comes to the tests. Chapters 2 and 3, pretty much the same. I do have some extra credit for chapters 2 and 3, and pretty straightforward. Not going to show you anything earth-shattering right here. Here we have some extra credit that you can turn in, and it's worth 1.5 points, a half of a point each. Go back to the syllabus tab once more, and we'll take a look at the easy problems. So these are homeworks 1, 2, and 3. You have 2 attempts at these guys, so you can go ahead and take the quiz. It will show you which ones you got wrong, so you can go ahead and select. I'm just going to randomly pick those 2. Submit this. It's going to be unhappy because I left some unanswered, and then we can go ahead and say, okay, look at this. I got 1 out of 10. It'll tell me that I got this one right, and this one I got incorrect, so I should probably take a look at what I did. Email me if you can't figure out what you did, and we'll make sure that you get a 10 out of 10 on your second attempt. Back to the syllabus tab, and we can go ahead and take a look at the test and the test review. I made these guys side by side, so if you see a question on the test review, there's a really good chance that you're going to see one in the test that is very similar to it. This thing is worth no points, and it has a time limit to give you a feeling for what you should be doing. And you see we have 30 questions with 0 points, unlimited attempts. So you can go ahead and take this guy, and much like the online homeworks, it'll tell you right, wrong, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of select those guys, and then we can scroll on down and submit it as many times as you want. I do not look at these results in any way, shape, or form. So now you can see that I got this one wrong. Let's go back to the syllabus tab one more time, and you can see the test is right there, pretty much the same deal. I'm not going to waste your time by clicking on it. And then we can kind of see the second big due date, all this stuff right here. Third big due date, all this stuff right here. And last big due date, all this stuff right here. Now, I have not mentioned where to find the lectures themselves. The lectures are VoiceOver PowerPoint, and they can be found on the Home tab, right front and center. You can click on Chapter 1 right here. And here I have some lecture videos on YouTube, so we can click on this bad boy right here and go ahead and watch myself give a nice fun little lecture. Turn off the sound here. And these are just kind of annotated and voiceover, so I kind of scribble on things and talk a little bit about that physics thing. You can find these slides right down here, so if you click on this guy right here, these are the slides that I was kind of talking to. So you can kind of see Introduction, Chapter 1. So you can print these guys out, take notes on them as you normally would. I split it into about 2 15-minute things, and then I also have some work problems, which is just like watching me work problems on the board. So when I click on this guy right here, what it's going to do is it's going to say, okay, here are some physics problems. Look, this is how you go ahead and solve these guys. Watching these are going to show you how to solve problems, but it's not going to make you good at solving problems. The way that you get good at solving problems is, well, kind of doing it yourself. You can find these problems just right here, and towards the later chapters I actually started doing extra work problems. So if you click on this guy right here, you have kind of the problems that I was solving. You can kind of see that guy right there. Go back to this guy right here. I believe that is everything I wanted to say. Please reach out to me using email or some other means. Solving physics problems is very difficult, especially in chapters 4, 5, and 6, and that's what I'm here for, is to help you get good at solving problems. With that said, I look forward to seeing you in Canvas. Have a good day.